So Digital Foundry has started posting up the tech comparison videos of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, comparing the PS4 versus the Xbox One version. And the first initial results coming in are a little surprising to a few people. So coming into the release of the game, there was such a big ordeal made that the PS4 version of the game was going to be running at full 1080p resolution, whereas the Xbox One was not full 1080p resolution throughout the whole game. We actually did find out that the Xbox One primarily is running at 1360 by 1080, so it's running at kind of a weird resolution, but it's dynamic. So what that means is it fluctuates. So whenever there's a lot of things on the screen going on, there's a big battle or whatever else, the resolution will actually go to that 1360 by 1080, and then once that kind of clears off and the game can handle it smoothly, then it expands back to the full 1080p resolution. So it's at 1080p sometimes, but not all the time. Whereas the PS4 is locked in at 1080p all the time. And so a lot of people, were saying, again, this is going to be a game where the superior version, obviously, is the PlayStation 4. But according to Digital Foundry, that may not be the case. According to them, the game actually suffers because of it being in 1080p throughout the whole game. So here's a section of their article. They say, in the main, asset quality is identical between the two platforms. From the handling of shadow rendering to texture detail, there's little to distinguish the Xbox One release from the PS4. But based on the first 3 campaign levels we've analyzed in depth, the larger disparity is in performance rather than in-game visuals. With patch 1.04 installed, the PS4 version's constant 1080p output comes at a price. We catch dips between the 50 and 60 lines during battles through Seoul streets, with drops to the high 40s caught when throwing the threat grenades to scan the area for enemies. Even in perfectly matched scenes, the Xbox One's performance tends to hold at a perfect 60 frames per second. And so by the end of the article, Digital Foundry is questioning the developers and their decision to go with full 1080p throughout the whole game. And they said, look, why not go with the dynamic resolution like you did with the Xbox One, where it fluctuates back and forth? And of course, that does make a lot of sense. And a lot of people in the comment section were agreeing. But the truth is, hindsight is 20/20. And let's be honest here. If they would have come out and said that this game is the same resolution as the Xbox One, if they would have come out and said this game runs sub 1080p, but it's going to be dynamic and it'll hit 1080p sometimes, the same as the Xbox One, what do you think would have happened? I'll tell you what would have happened. You would have had a group of people starting a campaign against this game. You would have had people pulling out their pitchforks, pulling out their little petitions, pulling out their hashtags, simply because the game was some sub-resolution number that they think it should be in their heads. If a developer develops a game, they have set for months, sometimes years, developing this game. I think they know how it should be displayed, and I'm going to leave it up to them to decide how they want to present it to me, their consumer, the audience. And all I ask for is a game that works. Give me a badass game that works and works right, it's not broken, and I'm a happy camper. But one thing I do not want is developers to start compromising gameplay simply due to the mob, because there's a lot of us out there who don't give a damn if it's 1080p or if it's running at 1380 by 1080p and is dynamic. Just give us solid gameplay. And if you're going to put emphasis on something, put it on frames per second. I'd rather have 60 frames per second over resolution. I'd rather have both. In a perfect world, in a PC world, you do have both, but for the time being, give me a good game. That does for me, the Red Dragon. You want to read more about it, links down in the description box, posted below. Let me know, do you think there should be compromise for frames per second for resolution? I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.